GloRilla's back in jail, but this arrest feels real shady. GloRilla's back in jail, and something about this whole situation feels real shady. But what's got everyone talking? Her jail cell. It's filthy, cramped, and straight up inhumane. Fans are seriously concerned, and honestly, they should be. Let's break it down. This wasn't just some petty arrest. This was a system playing dirty, again. GloRilla had just shut down the WNBA All-Star Game in Indianapolis. Big stage, big moment. She was out there representing, stacking wins, and living her best life. But while she was grinding for her future, some coward burglars ran up in her home. And guess what? She's the one who ends up behind bars. The criminals? Still running free. This ain't your regular celebrity drama. This is systemic failure in full view. On July 22nd, 2025, GloRilla voluntarily surrendered to the Forsyth County Jail. She could have lawyered up and handled it from afar, but instead, she walked straight into the lion's den, like the real one she is. Now, let's talk about Forsyth County Jail, 202 Veterans Memorial Boulevard, Georgia. This ain't no country club. This is a cold, rough county lockup where they treated GloRilla like just another number. Fingerprints, mugshot, tossed in a cell, like she was the criminal instead of the victim. Inside, it's a nightmare. Concrete walls, fluorescent lights buzzing 24/7, thin mattresses barely thicker than a Bible page, toilets with no seats, wide open, zero privacy, zero dignity. You're either bunked with someone detoxing or someone yelling at voices only they can hear. No mental health care, no basic hygiene. Inmates have begged just to get toilet paper, mold in the showers, food cold and barely edible. And that's before we even talk about the abuse. A former deputy arrested for sexually assaulting an inmate. Whistleblowers exposing corruption. This isn't just jail, it's survival. So when fans found out GloRilla was locked in there, the internet exploded. How does a victim end up in a cell while the actual burglars are out there laughing? She was released later that day on a $22,260 bond, but the damage was done. They dragged her through the system, fingerprinted her, caged her, and humiliated her. For what? And if the police thought GloRilla was going to stay quiet, they had her all the way messed up. Her response? Straight fire. Long story short, my house gets home invaded, and I'm the only one that gets arrested. 1, I wasn't busted. 2, my house got robbed. 3, I wasn't home. She laid it all out. Clear, real, and raw. She made it crystal. This wasn't about justice. It was about broken priorities. They focused on weed instead of catching violent burglars. And everybody from the hood to the burbs could feel that frustration. GloRilla's legal team didn't hold back either. They called out the system for what it was: flawed, backward, and biased. Attorney Drew Finling called the arrest a disturbing window into how law enforcement is choosing to operate. Let's be real. GloRilla's family called the cops for help. And somehow, she ended up booked while the actual suspects? No warrants, no leads, no justice. And the sheriff? Tried to cover it all with a weak statement. Sheriff Ron Freeman released a PR slick excuse trying to justify the arrest. But let's be honest, it only made them look worse.
The homeowner is a victim of a serious crime, and we are committed to bringing the suspects to justice. At the same time, we must continue to uphold and enforce the law in all aspects of the case.
But check this out. The sheriff's office claims they're committed to bringing the suspects to justice. But where's that same energy when it comes to actually catching these burglars? They straight up said GloRilla was a victim, then turned around and treated her like a perpetrator. That's some real contradictory bull right there. The hood didn't stay silent. The response was instant and overwhelming. Fans rallied behind GloRilla, not just because she's a star, but because this arrest hit deeper. It represented everything wrong with how marginalized people are treated when they're the ones who need protection. Social media went wild, support pouring in, while law enforcement got dragged for their twisted priorities. Because let's be real, this wasn't just about GloRilla. This was about us. About a justice system that stays fumbling when it comes to protecting our communities. Think about it. If somebody's home gets burglarized, what's supposed to happen? The cops come through, investigate, try to find the suspects, get back the stolen stuff, and protect the victim. But this time, they flipped the script. The victim got booked, while the real criminals are probably chilling somewhere, free as birds. It's like they saw weed and forgot a whole violent home invasion ever happened. The focus was all on drug enforcement, not justice, not safety, not truth. This case became a flashpoint, a rallying cry for people tired of seeing the system bend backwards to target the very folks it should be protecting. And GloRilla? She didn't stay silent either. Her post on X was short, sharp, and brutal. Long story short, my house gets home invaded, and I'm the only one that gets arrested. And just like that, so that's T, it went viral. It became a mantra for everyone who saw this case as yet another example of the justice system doing the wrong people dirty. But here's the thing, this ain't new. Let's rewind to April 16th, 2024. That's when GloRilla's DUI arrest had the whole internet talking. She got pulled over around 4 a.m. in Sewanee, Georgia, after allegedly making a U-turn at a solid red light, right at the intersection of Peachtree Industrial and Sewanee Walk Avenue. But this wasn't your everyday traffic stop. When the officer walked up, he said GloRilla had bloodshot, watery eyes. He claimed he smelled alcohol, so there was a strong scent of weed coming from the car. And here's where it gets viral. GloRilla's Memphis attitude came through immediately. She wasn't playing along with the officer's questions. We started asking about how many drinks she'd had. She gave him that look. You know the one. She wasn't trying to entertain any nonsense, and it showed. That moment, it lit up the internet. But then the situation escalated. Because while it started as a traffic violation, it turned into something much more serious when the officer noticed something else. Something that completely changed the dynamic of the stop.
But not only can I smell alcohol coming from your breath, but I can also smell marijuana coming from this car.
Now here's where things really took a turn. During the stop, GloRilla mentioned something that immediately got the officer's full attention. She had a firearm in the vehicle. Now, to her credit, she did disclose it. Even in a clearly impaired state, she tried to handle it the right way. No sudden moves, no hiding it, just upfront, responsible disclosure. But the moment she said it, the entire tone of the stop shifted. And then came the part that had everyone talking. GloRilla tried to lean into her celebrity status, maybe hoping to ease the tension, maybe hoping the officer would recognize her and let things slide a bit. But it backfired. The cop didn't know who she was. And that's when her frustration started bubbling to the surface. You could literally see it on her face. That mix of disbelief, attitude, and straight-up Memphis energy. Then came the iconic moment, the one that blew up across every platform. "I'm on your TV." That one line, pure GloRilla. Even in a messy situation, she kept that same unshakable confidence that made her a star in the first place. That swagger, unapologetic. It became a viral meme overnight because it captured exactly who she is, bold, loud, and unbothered. But the officer wasn't fazed. No fanboy moment. No pass. Instead, it moved straight into field sobriety testing. And that's when things got even messier. GloRilla underwent multiple field sobriety tests and failed. She also refused the breathalyzer, which under Georgia law is a whole separate issue. But here's the thing. Even after failing, GloRilla wasn't going out quietly. She challenged the results, argued with the officer, questioned everything. And when she was told she was under arrest, she didn't fold. That Memphis fighting spirit came out full force. No breakdowns, no begging, just fire. The same fire her fans know and love. It was a chaotic moment, but one that showed exactly why GloRilla's so captivating. Flawed? Maybe, but real all the way through.
Turn around for me.
What we doing?
Turn around for me.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna take the test. I'm gonna take the test.
That doesn't change anything. You still are going to be arrested.
Even when facing arrest, GloRilla stood her ground, insisting she had done everything right and passed the sobriety tests. Her refusal to back down, even with the evidence stacking up, showed the same unshakable confidence that's made her a standout in hip-hop. During the vehicle search, police found marijuana and an open container of alcohol, leading to additional charges. She was ultimately charged with driving under the influence, DUI, possession and consumption of an open alcoholic beverage in a vehicle, and failure to obey a traffic control device. GloRilla was booked into the Gwinnett County Detention Center and released later that morning on a $1,956 bond after being held from approximately 6:12 a.m. to 9:41 a.m. Now here's what's wild. Comparing her 2024 DUI arrest to her 2025 burglary situation is like night and day. In 2024, she was present, allegedly breaking the law, and posed a real public safety concern. The officer handled it professionally, and the charges were misdemeanors. But in the 2025 case, she was the victim of a violent home invasion. Wasn't even there when it happened. And yet she's facing more serious felony charges than the DUI case, where she was actually at fault. That's some backwards underscore right there. GloRilla's arrest went viral, partly due to her remarks to officers and her attempt to use her celebrity status. When she asked, "Do you know who I am?" the officer replied, "No." That moment became a meme and perfectly captured her confident personality. Even though she was being arrested, she kept that signature Memphis swagger. Despite the drama, GloRilla didn't cancel any performances and even kept her appearance at the Atrium Health Amphitheater in Monroe that same week. That move showed her professionalism and dedication to her fans. And then there was the body cam footage, another layer of controversy. At one point, her right breast became partially exposed, sparking online chatter. But most people focused on her attitude and what she said, not that moment. What made the 2024 DUI arrest stick in people's minds wasn't just the charges. It was how it showed GloRilla's personality under pressure. Even after drinking, having an open container, and making an illegal U-turn, she never lost that fiery energy that made her famous. That "I'm on your TV" moment, it went viral because it was pure GloRilla. But now, fast forward to 2025, and we're seeing a very different GloRilla. Instead of arguing with officers, she's using her platform to call out systemic injustice, not just for herself, but for her entire community. That shift shows growth. In 2024, she was trying to escape consequences. In 2025, she's trying to spark change. Now let's talk about something that's been floating around the culture for a while: industry plan accusations. Every time a female rapper blows up, especially a young black woman, people start questioning whether she's real. And GloRilla's legal issues have only added fuel to those conversations. But let's break down what an industry plant even means. It's a term used to suggest that an artist appears to have grassroots success, but is actually heavily backed by labels behind the scenes. But here's the truth. The term gets overused, especially against women and black creatives. When it comes to GloRilla, most people know she's real. Her story isn't industry-made, it's Memphis-made. Born on July 28, 1999, in Fraser, one of the roughest neighborhoods in North Memphis, she came from a strict Pentecostal household and got her start singing in church. She originally wanted to be a singer, but after losing her voice around 16, she pivoted to rapping. That's not strategy, that's survival. Her breakout hit, FNF, Let's Go, with Hit Kid in April 2022, was organic. It blew up on TikTok and YouTube without a major label push. It resonated with women tired of toxic relationships and wanting to celebrate independence. The track pulled in 45M plus YouTube views in under 3 months and reached number 42 on the Billboard Hot 100. That's authentic connection, not label magic. After the success of FNF, she signed with Yo Gotti's CMG under Interscope in July 2022. And let's be real, that wasn't some polished PR moment. She signed a deal on a private jet, holding stacks of cash, drinking champagne. That was Memphis realness all the way. She followed it up with hits like Tomorrow 2, with Cardi B, peaked at number 9 on Billboard Hot 100, and her 2024 debut album, GloRilla's, landed in the Billboard 200 Top 10. She's got Grammy nominations, BET Awards, and major collabs. But through it all, she stayed grounded, still talking like Memphis, still repping where she came from. Now compare that to how Ice Spice, Sexy Red, or Doekiai have also been labeled plants. Ice Spice blew up fast, got called manufactured. Sexy Red caught heat for her image, even though she went viral totally independently. Doekiai was signed to TD and still got accused of being fake. These accusations are often used to undermine female rappers instead of celebrating their success. GloRilla's critics say the same thing, but the receipts say otherwise. Her rise was real. Memphis knows it. Industry vets like Busta Rhymes have praised her for being untainted, and fans recognize that her image, her voice, and her style all come from her, not some label playbook. She's even said herself, her image and choices are her own. And now, with this 2025 legal situation, the contrast is striking. If GloRilla were really an industry plant, she wouldn't be getting raided, arrested, and dragged through the system like this. An actual plant would be protected, not punished. But GloRilla is out here dealing with the same systemic, regular people go through. Home invaded, victim of crime, and still ends up in handcuffs. That's not industry made, that's reality. And instead of letting lawyers clean it up quietly, she's out front, calling out injustice directly, staying 100 with her fans and community. The culture sees that and respects it. She's not distancing herself from her roots. She's standing in it, calling it what it is, and refusing to be silenced. Her fans aren't just riding for her because she makes great music. They're riding for her because she's one of them. She's real. So when we talk about GloRilla and these so-called industry plant accusations, we need to flip the narrative. It's not about how fast she blew up or how big her label is. It's about whether she stayed true to herself, to Memphis, to her people. And everything about the way she's handled her rise, her setbacks, and this legal fight proves it. GloRilla is real. She's not manufactured. She's not protected. She's just powerful, unapologetic, and still fighting for what's right, even when the system gets it completely wrong. Thanks for watching. Check out the other cards on the screen for more.